Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now I want to talk about what I like to call the trilogy of reality, and this is the connection of the consciousness, mind, and the central nervous system, and how it dictates what our reality becomes. Okay, for a wee while now here at Truly Holistic, I've been based upon focusing on what is reality. Okay, and you know, looking at our reality as a program reality or a simulation. And whenever we look at it, any perception or perspective or any level of reality, we find the same things. Okay, that programming is a big component of it, whether that's programming as a young child, what we got taught or we learnt from our parents, from programming on our screen appliances, our TVs, and what we're kind of being dictated by social norms and what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. We can look at it at that level, but we can also look at it, what's really booming and with the younger generations of today is gaming. The progression of gaming, and the the gaming looks like a movie. That we look at all these current new games, and you wouldn't know whether it's something based on a set, like a real set, or something that's been programmed, because the pixelation of and the way they're being programmed is just so lifelike. It's the same thing with virtual reality. I think it's going to really take us down a path where we're going to realize that we can program reality, and that reality is all based upon the same universal law, and that every program or every reality has been programmed. And if we can change and predict how virtual reality is going to be, gaming is going to be, and it's going to look so much like essentially the same as our reality that we have, that we call real life, then perhaps we have more control over what we deem real life or our reality that we live in. And so I want to talk about how these three are connected with mind, consciousness, and central nervous system. Now, our consciousness is wisdom or information given to us, channeled to us. Okay, and if we are suffering through mental illness or being told negative things about ourselves, then it's most likely that you're connected to a consciousness that is not at the highest value for you. It's manipulating you. And quite often a good indication of that is if you've got fear in your life, or and fear-based conditions, anxiety, depression, psychosis. A number of these things are all fear-based. And when you realize that a majority of our world is catered for us to be in a fear-based state. And another topic, I guess, for another day is how time has affected the way that we live life too, and especially towards a more of a fearful state, where it takes us out of the now and puts us into a place of where we're not in control. And when we're not in control, then all of a sudden fear is created out of that situation, whether it's a panic attack, whether it's anxiety, whether that's feeling down and depressed because we're not in control of our life. So fear is huge, and if there's something in connection or based within fear in your life, that means there is interference, and that could be through the consciousness of the information that you're getting. Now, let's use the analogy of a docking station for a phone, your iPad, or the iPad Nano, that you connect it to a speaker system, or that is essentially a consciousness docking into the bay of what we call your mind. Now, what we do know in regards to meditation is that meditation is about a practice about trying to silence the mind, mind chatter, right? And mind's racing all over the show. that is really what this reality is trying to create for you, is all this distraction to get you out of the infinite now. And the infinite now is about focusing on your reality, and what your reality is right in front of you at that time. Okay. And all this information about, oh, I need to watch the news because I need to know what's happening around the world. Well, your world is what's important to you in the now, right in front of you, not what's happening across the world, which you don't have really any control over at that time. So it puts you into a state of being out of control. So when the mind, and coming back to meditation, it's a practice of silencing the mind, isn't it? Getting you back into the now, getting yourself out of an environment of distraction and bringing you back into the now, because really that's the only important part of your reality, is the now. Okay. So your mind is like a bay for consciousness to come and land in. If we look at the analogy of an aircraft carrier, the aircraft carrier is your mind, and the aircraft to come and fly down and park somewhere is that consciousness that's going to park or dock into your mind. So all of a sudden we've got consciousness, the wisdom information coming in, connecting to what we call the mind, and then that information that's in your mind then being utilized by your central nervous system to create a picture of what your perception of reality is. Okay, so I get a number of people here at Truly Holistic. We get people that are struggling with ET interference, abduction episodes, a number of really unusual things happening around them energetically. And then you may get somebody that has none of that and doesn't believe in extraterrestrial influence, entity involvement, anything that is past 3D form and what we can see, what we can't see, what we can see. Now, is one wrong and one right? Not really. They're only coming to this conclusion based on their perception of reality. Okay, so for somebody that is getting all this ET involvement, manipulation, interference, it's because one or all three are being distorted. Consciousness, mind, and therefore your central nervous system processes that, and then that's your perception of reality. For the person that is not getting any of that, perhaps they don't have an interference occurring at the time, or there's a blockage in regards to evolving your consciousness to be aware of where you sit in reality, for example. So here at Truly Holistic, we look at these three things, and it's huge because your perception is everything. Okay, and the central nervous system is so important. Not only that it's, controls your entire nervous system, but it creates the perception of what your reality is going to be, because our reality is programmed. Okay, and we need to know that the consciousness of your higher selves, and therefore are part of the source lineage or soul lineage of you, is at the mixing desk of what your reality is going to be, because it's going to serve you well. Where if you've got a consciousness that is only out to manipulate you and therefore elicit a response out of you of panic, fear, anxiety, you do not gain anything out of that scenario or that situation. Okay, you have a life of suffering, which is low vibrational, because that's what fear is. It's very low vibrational, and it's a state of energy that certain consciousnesses need to evolve, and that's not your consciousness, that's something else. So I just wanted to do this video about this in regards to reality, and reality is huge, and we need to understand that. For example, someone might say, I'm getting all this interference from a being, okay, of some form. Now, a being is just an encoded form of a consciousness. For example, looking at me in this video, I am just an encoded form of my consciousness or my source lineage, okay? Because I am within a simulated reality. So everything within this reality is programmed to be there, right? So when we say we're getting interference by a being, so it's a reptilian being or so on, that's an encoded form of its consciousness, okay? So hence, as an energy healer, we're not just saying reptilian false or removing that being, because it will just remanifest into another encoded form within this reality. We need to understand what is that, what consciousness is that connected to, and where is that consciousness, okay? And it's most likely also connected outside of this reality, and we need to look at that, and we need to address that. If we want to completely get rid of this manipulation that's occurring to that person, we need to understand that there is a consciousness component, and then there's a encoded form, which we call physical form in this reality, and that could be in a reptilian being, could be a human being, okay? You'll notice the being component is with the human being, right? A human being is an encoded form. It's nothing other than that. A human being is not a consciousness. A human being is its encoded form within this reality. So anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this video. Now, obviously, people that suffer with racing mind and all sorts of things is because you're getting a number of rogue consciousnesses coming in and docking into your mind, which is creating that. Now, our reality is trying to keep us out of the now, okay, because when we get in the now, we can become more aware, right? And that's where the word awareness comes from, and that's the word, we become more conscious, therefore that's the word consciousness comes from. To then all of a sudden evaluate things and think, hey, why am I like this? I'm controlling my destiny, but in the now, because it's the only place you can do that. We may say, I did that 10 years ago, but at the time that was in the now, right? We never do anything in the past. We never do anything in the future. That is just an illusion. We just do things in the now. And that's the only time that we have control of. So therefore, being in the now is going to allow us to evolve consciously, okay? And when we can do that, then we can understand what's all this chatter coming through to the mind, and then we can have some awareness of it to then do something about it. If we're not in a state of the now, and therefore we are taken by the distraction of reality, or this program reality, then all of a sudden we can't get to that point of realizing, hey, we need to do something about this, because the bodies are always trying to communicate to you in a way of, hey, jumping up and down, please do something about the scenario. For example, pain. Pain's a sensation that the body's trying to tell you something's not right, but you need to be in a place of awareness and consciousness then to act upon it, okay, and take responsibility for yourself. Hey, I can do something about it. So anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I'll be posting some more videos very soon. If you're interested in booking an appointment, go to my website, trulyholistic.net, especially if it's encompassing any of the topics I've talked about in this video. Bye.